In the stillness of the night, along the winding country roads and dense wooded trails of North America, whispers tell of a creature that lurks beyond the reach of campfire light. Stories passed between generations warn of an entity part man, part beast, known as the Goatman. He is more than a legend. He is a reflection of our deepest fears, a symbol of the wild unknown that thrives just out of sight. Tonight, let us step into the shadowed world of folklore and explore the chilling story of the Goatman. It is early evening in a small rural town. The air is thick with the hum of cicadas, and the sky is painted with streaks of purple and gold. As the sun dips below the horizon, the forest edges darken, swallowing the last rays of daylight. For locals, this is when old stories come alive, the hours when the Goatman is said to roam. The legend of the Goatman has many origins, each with its own sinister color. In Maryland, he is said to haunt the woods near Fletchertown Road, a monstrous figure with the legs and head of a goat and the torso of a man. Some tales claim he was once a scientist, working at the Beltsville Agricultural Research Center. In a cruel twist of fate, his experimentations with animal DNA went horribly wrong, transforming him into a half-man, half-goat hybrid. Exiled from civilization, he took refuge in the woods, where his rage grew wild and feral. Others believe the Goatman is a product of ancient myths, a remnant of pagan times when the world brimmed with mysterious spirits, half-human figures wandering the forests and hills. His origins become more enigmatic the deeper you delve, blending science, supernatural, and the primal fear of what lies beyond the familiar. Texas has its own tale. Here the Goatman is connected to the old Alton Bridge, known locally as Goatman's Bridge. According to local lore, a kind-hearted African-American goat farmer named Oscar Washburn settled near the bridge in the late 1800s, beloved for his honesty and progressive ideas. But cruelty prevailed. A violent mob, infuriated by his success, lynched him and threw his body into the river below. Since then, many say, his spirit haunts the bridge, appearing as a terrifying half-goat creature, seeking revenge for the wrongs done to him and warning others not to repeat history's cruelties. Regardless of the specific legend, one element remains constant. The Goatman is both a warning and a mystery, a creature whose presence marks the line between civilization and wilderness. Eyewitnesses, I didn't sleep that night. None of us really did. We sat around the dying campfire in silence, watching the shadows flicker and twist against the trees. Every sound in the woods felt louder now. The crunch of leaves, the rustle of branches, the occasional distant crack, like someone or something was walking just out of sight. At some point around 3 a.m., Kyle stood up abruptly. "I'm done with this," he muttered. "I'm leaving. I don't care if it's dark or dangerous or whatever. I'm done." "No," I said, maybe too quickly. "We stay together. That's the only way this works." "Why?" he snapped. "So we can just sit here and wait to die. You saw it, right? That thing looked like it was wearing Andy's skin, like it didn't know how to be human." We all looked at Andy. He was pale, quiet, and shaking. His eyes looked empty, like he'd seen something none of us could understand. "I don't even know if that's still him," Kyle whispered. Andy didn't respond. He just sat there, rocking slightly. Then we heard it. A voice, my voice, coming from the forest. "Guys, it's me. Let me in. Please. My blood went cold. Everyone turned to look at me. The real me, sitting right there. But outside, something, or someone, was pretending to be me. I'm hurt, the voice said again. Please help. We didn't move. We didn't breathe. Then Andy stood up. Don't, I whispered. Don't go out there. He didn't listen. He took a few steps toward the edge of the clearing. That's when we saw it, standing between the trees, tall, hunched, wrong. Its skin hung loosely, like a costume not meant to fit. Its arms were too long. Its face looked almost like mine, but stretched, warped, like someone had tried to carve me out of memory and failed. And it was smiling. Andy took another step. Andy! I shouted, grabbing his arm. He turned to me, eyes wide with fear. That's not me, I said. He nodded slowly, and for a moment I thought he understood. But then he whispered, I know. And he ran towards it, and he disappeared into the darkness before any of us could stop him. I shouted his name, but the forest swallowed the sound like it didn't matter, like it had already claimed him. For a long moment, none of us spoke. Then Jenny broke the silence. We have to go after him, she said, standing up. No, I said immediately. That thing, it wants us to split up. That's what it's been doing all along, picking us off one by one. So what? We just let him die? Her voice cracked, tears catching in her throat. He's already gone, Kyle said, and it sounded like he hated himself for saying it. That night blurred after that. We sat in a circle, backs to each other, watching the trees. Every now and then, we heard movement, twigs snapping, soft footfalls, whispering, like someone mimicking our voices, like something was circling us, just out of reach. And then, the laughter started. It wasn't loud. It was low and ragged, like someone trying to laugh without ever having done it before. It came from different places, moving around us, always just behind the trees. Sometimes it sounded like Andy. Sometimes it sounded like me. Once it sounded like Jenny. I thought I was losing my mind. We didn't sleep. No one said anything. We just waited for the sun. When morning came, the woods were silent. The fire had long since died. Everything looked normal. Too normal. We need to leave, I said. Now. We packed quickly. No one even suggested looking for Andy. We didn't talk about it. We just started walking. But here's the thing. The trail didn't look the same anymore. Trees we recognized were suddenly in the wrong place. Landmarks we passed on the way in were just gone. Hours passed. We kept walking, but it felt like we weren't going anywhere. That's when Jenny stopped dead in her tracks. Guys, she said quietly, pointing ahead. Up the trail, maybe 30 feet away, was Andy, just standing there, smiling. He was wearing the same clothes. His hair was messy like before, but there was something off. His eyes were too wide, too still. Andy, I called. He didn't answer, just kept smiling. Then, in perfect unison, he repeated every word I just said. Andy, I called. Same tone, same pitch. That wasn't Andy. Kyle screamed. Then we ran. We ran. None of us spoke. The only sounds were the crunch of leaves underfoot and our panicked breathing. The forest blurred around us in streaks of green and brown, the sunlight barely breaking through the dense canopy. It felt like the trees were closing in, like the woods didn't want us to leave. Somewhere behind us, we heard it running too. Not Andy. Not anymore. Something heavier, faster, and it was laughing again. That broken, stuttering laugh that didn't belong to any human. We didn't stop until Jenny tripped over a root and went down hard, scraping her hands and knees. Kyle and I skidded to a stop and helped her up, and for a moment, just a moment, we caught our breath. Then I noticed something. The air was wrong. Too still. No birds, no insects. Even our own breathing seemed muffled somehow, like the forest itself was holding its breath. And the trees were the same ones we'd passed hours ago. I looked down. My heart dropped. Our footprints. In the mud. Fresh. We'd been running in circles. Jenny saw it too. "No," she whispered. "No, no, no. We're not alone," Kyle said. I turned to look behind us and froze. Standing just beyond the tree line, half hidden in shadow, were two figures. Both of them looked like Andy. Identical smiles, identical clothes. But they stood differently. One tilted its head too far to the left, and the other's arms hung too low, like they were made of rubber. Then one of them spoke. "Don't be scared," it said in Andy's voice. "We're friends." The other repeated it, but out of sync, slurred, like it was trying to mimic the first but didn't understand the words. We backed away slowly, heartbeats hammering in our ears. That's when the third figure stepped out from the trees. It looked like me, blood on its face, hollow eyes, and a jagged grin that stretched too wide. Then, all at once, they moved, not ran, glitched, like frames skipping in a broken video. 1 second they were standing still, next they were 5 feet closer, then 10. We bolted again. This time, we didn't talk. We just ran like hell, ignoring branches that scratched our faces, roots that caught our ankles. We ran with no plan, no idea where we were going, only away. Eventually, we found ourselves at the edge of a dried-out creek bed. We slid down into it, hidden from view, and collapsed behind a fallen tree. And there, in the silence, I finally said what we were all thinking. "That thing, those things, they're not trying to kill us." Jenny looked up, her face pale. "Then what do they want?" I swallowed hard. "They're trying to replace us."